Hello, it's me, Joe Valek, and I am at Strange Brew, and sitting to my left is one of the most important creative thinkers in the UK and perhaps the world right now. It's Elijah. Hello.
You set me up. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for having us. We're at the launch of your book, Close the App, Make the Thing. It's a very special event, so thanks for taking the time out to chat to us. Now, I always start off with a little gift, and you are no different. So I have brought you this.
Oh!
Take a look.
Yes.
Show the camera. What have we got?
Enter the Dragon. So, fun fact about this film, Bruce Lee died before it came out. Most people don't know this. And the reason that he ended up doing this film, he was filming Game of Death, and then he went to Hollywood to film this instead. So he didn't finish Game of Death. Everyone told him not to make a film with the title Death in it, because it was like kind of like a bad omen.
Yeah.
Died, and then this comes out, biggest selling, whatever, Chinese film at the time, or Kung Fu film at the time. And yeah, quite funny. Yeah.
I never knew that.
Yeah, it's a lot you don't know.
Well, now I do. But I bought you this because your love for old karate movies is something that inspired you a lot growing up, and it also inspired your love for pro wrestling.
Where did you read this?
I heard it in a podcast you did recently.
Okay. All right.
And yeah, so I want to know, what's your finisher move if you were a wrestler?
Oh, I have to make like someone tap. I think that's like the ultimate thing. You have the suspense. Are they gonna tap? Are they gonna tap? You work the whole match based around weakening like a particular body part to like make them tap, maybe like an ankle lock or something. Like, so all your moves build up to that, and then when you actually get it locked in, you have the like moment of like, are they gonna tap? Or they're trying to get to the ropes. And it's like, no, get this cinched in. Yeah.
You've thought about that before?
No, I haven't. That's just off the cuff.
Nice. Okay, well, it must be the best move ever then. Now talk to me about how Trapped by Dizzy Rascal was a big influence on the ideology of Butterz.
These are great questions. There's a line in that song, Dirty Stank is a label putting a scene on a map. Fellas still in the rat race must really want to stay trapped. I didn't really want to stay trapped, and I thought Butterz is going to be the label putting a scene on a map. So I always love that song. There's a couple of verses that feel very close to home to me at that time in life. Not about people that necessarily I knew or anything, but it's like, oh, that mentality. I didn't want to be trapped. I went to university, got out of London, and like had a bit of a, ooh, this is what it's like out here. And yeah, that was like the journey towards starting Butterz. Yeah, great question, jeez.
Thanks for sharing. Nothing would have happened if you hadn't gone out of the city. You wouldn't have met Skilliam. You wouldn't have done all the things that happened since.
Exactly.
So thank you, Dizzy Rascal.
Exactly.
You've said that a balance of skills is important in any crew or collective. Can you expand a little bit on this and explain what that might look like in reality?
Okay, so a lot of the time people come together because they have like similar interests, which is that's just normal. But then people also group around similar skills, but then everyone's trying to do the same thing, right? But what I realized happened with Butterz quite organically, like Will Skilliam is like more analytical, like Excel king. I was more like creative, like vision, ideas, thinking, okay. Then we had like DK, who did a lot of our artwork. Again, another kind of visionary person that was like, no to bad ideas, you know? Mm-hmm. Filtered a lot of vision stuff that I had and brought his own vision to it. Royalty, same thing. He was a mixture of music, being out of London, being from Southampton, from a different place, looking into grime, swindle, jazz hand, musical wizard. You know, obviously understood music on a deeper level than I do still today. And then meeting Flavor, again, different sensibilities, different priorities, very different background, comes in, like how many women were producing and DJing in the scene at that time? Not many. Mm-hmm. And then again, all of the doors and challenges that opened up, learning through her and her about her experience of the world. And then again, meeting DJ Q, someone from Huddersfield. I didn't know anyone from up north or anything like that. Introduced me to wider culture, bassline, and just like, I guess, his view of what was going on. He had the touch point of One Extra, coming to London regularly, UK Garage, and just, yeah, very different point of view, and again, equally valuable.
And it wouldn't have worked without all of that perspective, I don't think.
Exactly.
Well, I think you would have made it work for sure, but
no,
everything is important, right?
It took a village. Like, this was weird. It's like all of that stuff needed to happen to get hit, so it doesn't work with that any of those. And then a lot of those people, we're still orbiting each other. You know what I'm saying? Royalty's part of this project. Skilliam is like in my right hand with everything, even though he's not with me today. He's like we still speak all the time. We're like in each other's orbits constantly, and that will just probably never change.
It does take a village, like you're saying. It does take a village. Now, on a TikTok video you did with Derek G, BC commented, and I'm quoting here, "Literally never seen a bad take from Elijah." And you replied to that comment and saying, "Oh, I've got them." So, Elijah, tell me, what's your worst take?
How long have you got? I think there's things that maybe people agree with me on, which is good, and I think I want to encourage disagreement more than just like agreement. I think if you're gonna like argue with anyone on the internet, argue with me. Like, I'm cool with it as long as it's stayed in good spirits and a respectful place. I'm down for that. And I think over the last 5-6 years, there's been a lot of convergence of ideas. Like people saying the same thing. Okay, everyone's going this way. Oh, let's all go that. And then when someone thinks differently, we kind of ostracize them. And I'm like, I don't mind being a person that is going to take an opposite path to that. So there's going to be things, hopefully, like when I do the talk later on today, where people go, this doesn't really make sense to me. Or maybe it makes sense to Elijah because he's crazy. But each of those are just subjective. I don't know the disagreeable takes until I put them out there. Maybe
You're not afraid of being wrong, though?
Someone could disagree and I'd not be wrong.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear that. But you're not afraid of them disagreeing either. A lot of people are afraid of that.
I've got one of these squares and it's like, I'm not trying to reach everyone or convince everyone or agree with everyone anyway. That's just why there's 100 people coming today and not 1,000. I could do things that would appeal to more people, but then it wouldn't be true to me or interesting to me. You know what I'm saying? I could say, oh, trust the process. But how helpful is that going to be to me? If I put like quotes on my Instagram from like Bruce Lee, there will be more followers. But again, who's going to come on a Thursday night to Strange Brew? Not anyone that I would want to really interact with. So I'm selective about what I'm talking about on the internet. Because, I want to magnetize similar thinkers, and similar thinkers should regularly disagree with me.
Very wise take. Now, is it true that yellow and black is here, it's everywhere? Is it true that these are your colours because you could only afford to pay for 2 colours on the first Butterz vinyl print?
Yeah, so the 2 colours thing, first of all, it was like a design thing. I thought like a lot of the artwork in all the scenes really was pretty bad. So we were stripping it back to like no artwork. And then I realised that if you press a record, there's like a full colour option or 4 colour option and a 2 colour option. And the 2 colour option was £500. And that's all we had, me and Skilliam, $250 each. Was working at M&S at the time. And that was the stake money to start Butterz. Like £250 each to press the first record. And that, we just stuck to that. It was like kind of trying to be disciplined as well. Like not to have too many component parts. Make something instantly recognizable, and it was like easy to extend that into other things. So like you see me sometimes I'm wearing yellow, I've like got the Nike tick, that yellow. Just like it's not difficult to follow. And then I realized there was bits in my personal life where it popped up, so I could fold in Bruce Lee's suit from the Game of Death. I could fold in all of these kind of different yellow moments of popping up. Boy in the Corner, another one that was just coincidental, but also fun to weave into the story.
Thank you for sharing. Now, 2 more questions. In fact, no, sorry, 3. Quote here from you now. There's never been a creative movement in a high rent, high energy price, high transport cost, high inflation environment. And this is quite true for you, I think, because you actually...
I don't know if that's true. It's a question. Has there ever been a creative movement in a high rent, high inflation, high transport costs, high energy situation? I don't know. So, and someone came back and said tango in Argentina. I haven't researched it yet, but if that's one, it's a good example.
Okay. Well, you heard it here first.
Yeah.
But this actually impacted you because you decided to pursue music because of the 2008 global economic crisis, because you said you were struggling to get jobs, you were competing with too many people who were too experienced, and you said, why not? Let's put our all into music. But my question is, have you ever wished that things were different and you pursued maybe a path that was a little bit easier?
No, not necessarily. Like, think of all of... It's like there's too many sliding doors moments, right? Like a moment that happened when I finished college, and the trapped moment meant I went to a different university than I originally planned. Then I met Skilliam. Then all of those things opened. Then replied to a message from Scratcher DVA, then that was like my door into Rinse. And like all of these moments need to happen to get here. So I'm not like, I wish I was the junior marketing executive of Sandals Company in 2008 and hopefully I'd be a VP now. This is not a life I wish for. It would be different. And there would have been other comforts, but then it would have been this niggling feeling that I missed out. If everything else played out in the same way, I would have been like, I could have done that. I would have loved to have been involved. I would have been happy for the man then, regardless, but I'd have been like, Whereas the other way around, I can still be junior marketing executive of a Sandals Company anytime.
I think that's good. You made the leap of faith and it paid off. I think it's a bold thing to do.
Yeah, it's not faith, it's just like that was the only choice. So some of these things I'm not post-rationalizing. This is just like that was what needed to be done to get to the next stage, and then it got done. So yeah.
You've travelled the world with your craft. Where surprised you the most and why?
I feel like I always shout out the same places, but last March I went to the Philippines and to Manila specifically, and had a very warm experience when the people hosted me, and they've got like an interesting mix of cultures. Just like obviously you have like American influence, like we all do because we're just in the global landscape. You have obviously very Filipino influence, very like Chinese, then like French and Spanish. It feels like a mad place to me, and music culture is interesting because the electronic music is like all over the place, pretty hyper, and then there's like a big rap culture too. So like rap music is just huge there, and local hip hop is big. So anywhere there's MCs and people just trying to do interesting things and push out, I find interesting. But yeah, Philippines probably just doesn't get shouted out. So shout out to the man like Manila. Yeah.
Beautiful country too, I'm sure.
Yeah, for sure.
It definitely helps. Okay, last question now. So I was researching the sun the other day, the thing in the sky, and it makes up 99.8% of the mass in the solar system, which I didn't know that, and I think that's crazy to me.
Yeah.
And now I believe that you kind of live your life in a similar way. You are 99.8% creative. You put 99.8% of your energy into the things you do every day, and the 2%, which if you think about the solar system is still massive, is the rest of your life. Do you feel like you still have to make sacrifices to maintain this lifestyle, or is it just second nature now?
No, it's definitely sacrifices of push and pull. But another way of looking at it, I don't know if you know what the Kardashev scale is.
I don't.
So it's like this scale about how much of the energy in the universe we're using at one time. So at the moment we're using some tiny amount of Earth's resources like to power the world, and it's like we're kind of getting by, working fine. But when we start like harnessing the power of the sun, like total, like we've got all the solar power working, then we start like using asteroids as power, like and expanding. Maybe that's how I view scenes and ideas. We're not there yet. We're like this tiny bit of like exploring ideas. And what would happen here if we harness the whole sun? Or what would happen if we harness all of the universe's energy at one time? And all the matter and all the atoms? What would happen? I don't think that's happened. I feel like we're like in this bit trying to like work out how to divide, this, some small idea that people came up with like 60 years ago, and like whatever, DJing, 2-decks, mixer, beats, dancing, like. But I think there's like loads of ways to layer interesting things on top of that. And in terms of me, I'm not rich, I'm not famous. I just like make and share and help other people make and share. And I just try and do that with like the least bureaucracy possible and the least hassle and the least stress. So that sometimes there's obviously heightened stress. I have to deal with TFL like everyone else. I have to deal with raising costs and all the crazy things that happen with putting yourself out there on the internet. But at the same time, like these ideas are just like the minimum viable thing I could do without bankrupting myself, without sending myself crazy, and like, making something useful and hopefully interesting to other people. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Sweet.
Thanks for sharing. Give yourself some credit though. You are a G. So
thank you, bro.
People think that too, so yeah. Don't ever forget it.
Thank you.
That's the end of my questions. Before I let you go to this amazing talk, and I can't wait to see it, is there anything else you want to say? Anything you want to get off your chest?
No.
Good.
There's a lot of philosophy in these films. There's a good moment actually where at the end of the film, he's looking for the final boss, and he's looking into the mirrors. And I'm at that moment of this project, bringing it to a close, looking into the mirror, and like trying to work out what to do next. Watch the film, check it out, and DVDs. We're having to bring these back. Super important. Yeah, like super important. I just bought some records as well at Rough Trade. I'm like reversing my like intake of music, not even consumption. Consumption sounds like something else. Just like what I take in. Maybe less, but better. I'll try.
Quality over quantity. Appreciate you, man.
Thank you, man.
Have a good night.
Nice one.